Good morning again. Sister Kim sent me this, and it wasn't until she sent me this that it clicked to me. Um, I talked about how Central Banker, aka Mr. Doom, reported on the cyber attack on Israeli's water, but he also mentioned how the president was moved last night in the White House as a result of the protest. Still didn't click to me till Sister Kim sent this to me. Okay. The president and his family have been shaken by the size and the venom of the crowds. Trump has told advisors he worries about his safety while both privately and publicly praising the work of the Secret Service. Trump took shelter in White House bunker as protests raged. I had a dream on May 8th or the night before of the White House, okay? And I'm gonna tell you because it felt as if it was a bunker type situation, okay? Um, so I'll tell you the dream. I'll tell you some things that have given me some revelation since then. One of the videos apparently was taken down, but it's okay. So on May, I guess 7th, the night before, I had a dream that a group of us went to the White House, okay? It was a small group, and it seemed as if it was a social distancing type thing. Like there wasn't supposed to be but so many people because they were trying to adhere to the social distancing guidelines. Okay, so it was a small group of us. They went to the White House. There was a guardsman that checked us in. Okay, and also it seemed as if when we got inside the White House, we all had like kind of little rooms. We will be separated. It seemed as if we were to all go into a room of maybe like two people that would be there, max two or three people. That's kind of been the guidelines for a lot of states. But it seems as if we would be sectioned off and not allowed to gather in large groups. Okay, so I looked at the house. I looked out the window, and there were hills. It seemed to be a bunker feel to it. There were hills of green grass. I remember watching Magnum PI. I don't know what day of the week that was. The day after or the night of, and I saw the hills in Hawaii there as they were wrapping up the end of that show, and it reminded me of the dream. There was also one more thing, but I'll get back to that. I left to go get something to eat. My mom wondered why I haven't eaten anything, saying I should eat. It seemed as if I hadn't eaten. Maybe I was too busy or, preoccupied, but just hadn't eaten. All right. I don't remember my mom being in the dream. I just remember me writing this down, okay? Come I came back, I guess, from getting something to eat. I felt like I went to go get something to eat. Came back because my mom's asking why they haven't you eaten. Da 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 da. You know how moms go. And I came back in, and the guardsman needs a new person because he had been disqualified. Like he needed somebody to take his place. Okay, like he knew he was being fired or something, okay, or uh, it was time for him to go. Kind of reminds me of this officer, kinda that killed George Floyd. But this was a guardsman in the White House, the one that checked us in. Uh, so me and the guardsman had a conversation, and it was like the people that came in that small group were going to be, one of the replacements that they would choose. And the guardsman told me that I couldn't, not to be too spiritual though. Um, it was kind of like he was hinting, saying, "Hey, you might be the person that they pick, but you can't be too spiritual though." Okay, like it was kind of like it just didn't want me to be spiritual. It was like he didn't want me to have any type of. It was like those who had a relationship with the Lord were frowned upon, or he was advising that we not be too spiritual. Maybe um, knowing, maybe implying that we should close our eyes to certain things, or of course be more fleshy, okay, or look at things by the way we're going to be trained. Okay, it was I was offended a little. He's like, don't, but you can't be too spiritual though. um I feel like he had taken a test and his score was 237, to test his qualifications, I guess, to finalize or to confirm that it was his time to be gone. And his score was 237. Um, my score qualified me above his score, and he knew that. I don't remember taking a test, but I know it felt like I did in the dream, and my score qualified me above his score, and he knew that. Also, I seen him take a stone and hit a rhinoceros and stomp and kill it, like David and Goliath. Okay, it was a huge rhino. Okay, I feel like I can't remember if it was inside the White House or outside the White House. It was kind of like I had a vision inside of the dream of him killing this rhino, okay, rhinoceros, and it stunted or killed it. Kind of like how David took a stone and killed Goliath. Um, but the fact that it was a rhino kind of gives me what's the word, counterfeit type, you know. It felt like, it wasn't a giant, but it was a rhino. Um, let's see. Also, before he left, what he brought in, what he brought in actually, it was like a bag of marijuana, okay, like these buds of marijuana. And as he took them out, they like turned into blackberries, okay? And he was distributing them to us in the group. These were kind of like his parting, this is kind of like his parting gifts to us. He'd been disqualified. One of us is going to take over as the guardsman in the White House. And his parting gift was a bag of marijuana. I was like, should I take this from him? Like, this is a strange type of parting gift, okay? But it's like he had a bag of marijuana, buds in it, and as he took them out, they turned into blackberries. And by the time he distributed it to me, and I had the blackberry in my hand, it turned to an albino white blackberry. And I ate it, and I kind of felt like, should I be even eating this? Because I seen it with my eyes, this thing was weed, okay? Then it turned to blackberries, and then by the time I got it in my hand, I just knew to eat it, just because it was food. But it had turned white. It was like a white albino blackberry. It was super sweet, you guys. Super sweet. It was really good. Okay, I just remember it was really good. I felt kind of guilty for even eating it. Um, and later on, when I was leaving, it seemed as if I was on the outside of the White House. I was leaving in a car. Okay, I feel like somebody may have been driving me. It was just time to leave, okay? And the car was parked right outside the White House, like in the front. And um, my my neighbors were there. My next door neighbors were there. And I told them, like, not to worry. Even the hairs on your head are numbered. It seemed as if I was leaving before them. I felt like they were going to leave, but I felt like I was leaving before them. Like their ride was coming. Like they were going to get picked up also, but my ride just happened to be there first, okay? And I told them, like don't worry, even the hairs in your head are numbered. So when I saw the news about the bunker, of course, this is what I saw. And I didn't want to make this video because I hadn't looked up that scripture. Okay? When I get scripture like that, I don't like to make videos without looking it up, at least. The guy's score, let's see. Uh, Also, so up top, back to when I was looking out the windows, once I was inside the White House, and it seems to be hills all around. Like I said, the first thing I seen in real life was the hills and Magnum PI, and also someone mentioned this movie, and someone mentioned this movie. Okay, I don't know what show, but it was like the day after. Okay, I was like the Wildlings or the Wild Ones. Is if there's another movie that you guys know about called this, just let me know. But there was a scene in it with the hills in it. Okay, they showed a clip of it, and someone mentioned the Wild Ones, the movie The Wild Ones. I've never heard of it, but I remembered this movie was about look at the hill, okay? When I seen they showed this hill scene in it, but I'm not even sure if this is the movie, okay, you guys? But this is what I looked up. I just remember seeing the hill, and but look at what this movie is about. It was about a riot, okay? Let's go back up. Of a motorcycle, the leader of a motorcycle gang, inspired by a real event known as the Hollister incident. Okay, I must tell you what the Hollister incident was. Y'all not gonna leave this. Um, an incident known afterwards as the it says many more motorcyclists than expected flooded the small town to watch the annual rallies as well as socialize and drink. A few of the motorcyclists got out of control and caused a commotion in the town. Sounds like rioting, you guys. The incident, known afterwards as the Hollister riot, was sensationalized by the press with reports of bikers, quote, taking over the town. Doesn't that sound like right now? Pandemonium in Hollister. The strongest dramatization of the event was a photo of a drunken man sitting on a motorcycle, possibly staged by the photographer by surrounding the scene with discarded beer bottles. Okay? It published in Life magazine and it brought national attention and negative opinion to the event The Hollister riot helped to give rise to the outlaw biker image. Pandemonium. If you've been following me enough, just not too long ago did a video on Pandora, Pandemonium, Pandemic, all the pans. And the fact that they think that this thing was over sensationalized by the press, okay? Reports of bikers taking over the town. That sounds like now, okay? Yes, it's over sensationalized with these riots. Them constantly taking footage of paid protesters in these major cities and resulting in other protesters. Not to say that there's not an organic element to this. People want to peacefully protest or rightfully angry, but we know that we have paid agitators, okay? Like I said, if anybody knows anything about another movie or TV show called The Wild Ones, let me know. But this is what I looked up. I hadn't even looked it up until today. Also, the guy, his number being 237, which disqualified him from being the Guardsman anymore. Look at this. In the Greek, it means from another quarter or by another way. From another place by another way. That makes me think about how perhaps the president was moved from one area to the next. From upper ground or to underground. From somewhere else to some other way. Let's look at what it means in the Hebrew. This says a memorial stone in Palestine. I didn't get that, but this is what the other meaning of it is in the Hebrew. A memorial stone in Palestine. Okay. Surely there's some memorial sites, some sites in D.C. near the White House, but I'm not too sure about what that actually means, okay, specifically. And the last thing, there is a such thing as a white Blackberry. Didn't know that. Sweet white Blackberry. This thing was sweet. I've never in my life seen a white Blackberry. One of a kind. Fruit is bigger than standard berries. Ideal for jams, jellies, preserves. Juicing. Disease resistant. And self-pollinating plants. White blooms cover the plant in late spring to early summer, making way for the creamy white sweet fruit that grows on the second year canes. They're larger than the white standard wild blackberries, but are just as sweet and juicy. When I thought about the white blackberry, I just thought it had a spiritual significance to it. Being that it was white, pure. But I didn't know it was a such thing, okay? This thing was 5'8". Let me go to the scripture. Let's see. So his was 237. His qualifications, his test, and he was a guardsman inside the White House. Maybe it represents the Secret Service. Later, when I was leaving, I told my neighbor that was there. Even the hairs in your head are numbered. That's Matthew 10, and I will wrap this up. That couple was also in my loving waters dream. Okay. Um, they just moved here 6, 7 months ago. Okay. Uh, they put up Christmas decorations. So they may be believers. They may be believers. Okay. Um, Also, I don't think I mentioned this in that living water stream. This couple, they they look like they are uh, from Israel or something, you guys. Okay, uh, they have a language that they speak. It's not Arabic. My ex-husband is Arabic. It's I just feel like maybe they speak and they look like they're from Israel, okay? Their complexion, they look Jewish. They look like they're from Israel, and they have a language that they speak that I've not too familiar with, okay? Um, so they may be like, I don't know if we can use this term, Judeo-Christians. They may be, okay? Um, really nice. I haven't really talked to them, but they're nice. They have an accent, and they have very olive skin. I feel like they're native Israelis or something. I don't know, you guys. I have to ask them. I said to them, even don't worry. Even the hairs on your head are numbered. Let's start at 28, Matthew 10. And fear not them which kill the body, but are not able to kill the soul, but rather fear him which is able to destroy both soul and body in hell. Are not 2 sparrows sold for a farthing, and one of them shall not fall on the ground without your Father. But the very hairs of your head are all numbered. Fear ye not, therefore, you are more valuable than many sparrows. Okay, the beginning of this chapter, the Lord was sending out the disciples. Okay, he called into him the 12 disciples, gave them power against the unclean spirits, and sent them forth. Okay, and told them, and I'll write this up. These 12 Jesus sent forth and commanded them, saying, go not into the way of the Gentiles, and into any city of the Samaritans enter ye not, but rather go to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Okay. First, the gospel is preached to the Israelites, or the Jews first. And go ye preaching, and as ye go, preach, saying, the kingdom of heaven is at hand. Okay. There was one more scripture that caught my attention. I don't want to make this video too long, but I just thought that was interesting. The Lord used them in that dream. I feel like they are from Israel, you guys. They have an accent, and they just look like they're from, you know, they just look Jewish to me. Don't ask me. Maybe I'll have to ask them one day, okay? And I'll give y'all an update. That's the dream. And I seen President Trump had to go in the bunkers. Just reminded me of this dream. One of a few that I really need to just go ahead and put out. Oh, one more thing. BP Earthwatch, after I had this dream, he put out a video of a doctor. It was a short video, like 3 to 5 minutes maximum. This doctor is standing on the front staircase or stairway of a hospital, and he was saying how the how the how the governors, how the how they were saying that liquor stores were essential, and I feel like medical marijuana, or even I guess there are only one type of marijuana dispensaries, were essential. How abortion clinics were essential. Okay, but in contrast to that, they wouldn't let. I feel like he said the churches. They won't let the churches be open. Okay, he was just talking about all these, a few different types of businesses that the government said were essential businesses: the liquor stores, the abortion clinics, and the weed dispensaries. But yet, I felt like on the other hand he was saying, but the churches are not deemed essential. And maybe it was something else he was saying that should be allowed to be opened. Okay, so that was one of the first things that I seen. I think they've deleted it. I've looked for that video over and over again, and I felt like I saved it at least, but haven't looked through my save, watch later playlist. There were 2 videos that have been deleted. Of course they were. Okay. It's just getting real interesting, and I didn't want to pitting out this video. I'll just look for more clues in this dream. Okay, you guys? Talk to you later.